War in Iran. How the U.S. conflict will shake the Caribbean. The world woke up to a dangerous new reality. The United States has officially entered into war with Iran, launching airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites in support of Israel's military campaign. As tensions explode in the Middle East, most people are looking eastward, but they should be looking closer to home. While the Caribbean may be thousands of miles away, the aftershocks of this conflict are already rumbling through our economies, our ports, and possibly even our politics. If you thought this war was only about Iran and Israel, think again. In this video, we break down the 5 biggest ways this United States and Iran war could rattle the Caribbean, from soaring oil prices to pressure from Washington itself. This is not just geopolitics, this is survival. Fuel prices will explode. When the US bombs Iran, the oil markets panic. But why? Because Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway through which 1/5 of the world's oil supply flows. If Iran retaliates by shutting it down or targeting tankers, global oil prices could skyrocket. For Caribbean nations that import nearly all their oil, like Jamaica, Barbados, and St. Vincent, this is a ticking time bomb. Fuel, electricity, cooking gas, and transportation could all become significantly more expensive within days or weeks. This would hit regular citizens the hardest. Rising fuel costs mean higher food prices, higher taxi fares, and possibly even energy rationing in the most vulnerable nations. Countries like Haiti and Dominica, already under financial pressure, could spiral into deeper economic instability. Caribbean tourism faces new threats. Tourism is the lifeblood of many Caribbean economies. But with war comes fear, and with fear comes cancellations. If tensions spread, flights may be reduced, insurance costs could rise, and Western tourists may delay travel plans. Rising fuel prices will make flights and cruises more expensive, potentially deterring budget travelers. Cruise lines might reroute or cancel trips to cut costs, hurting small island economies that depend on them. Resorts from the Bahamas to Grenada may see fewer guests, just as they're recovering from COVID-era losses. For workers in the hospitality industry, this could mean fewer jobs, reduced hours, and deeper financial stress. U.S. pressure on Caribbean governments. As the war escalates, the U.S. will start looking to its allies, including the Caribbean, for support. That might mean asking for public endorsements, supportive UN votes, or even turning a blind eye to military movements in regional waters. But here's the catch. Not all Caribbean nations may want to get involved. Some maintain ties with Iran, China, or Venezuela. Others prefer to stay neutral. But Washington might not tolerate silence in this war, and countries that resist could face diplomatic pressure or financial retaliation. Foreign aid, trade deals, and even visa arrangements could be used as tools of leverage. This could spark tension between Caribbean governments and their populations, especially if people feel they're being forced into a conflict they didn't choose. Remittances could decline sharply. Across the Caribbean, millions of families rely on remittances from relatives in the U.S. But if the war drags on and the U.S. economy takes a hit, due to oil price shocks, market instability, or military costs, those remittances could shrink. If inflation returns to America, the value of the US dollar sent back to the islands will fall. If recession hits or job losses occur, Caribbean migrants might send less money or none at all. This isn't just about individual families, it's about national economies. In countries like Jamaica, Haiti, and Guyana, remittances account for a huge portion of GDP. A slowdown could cripple spending, investment, and even government revenue. Militarization and migration fears. The Caribbean could find itself pulled into the war zone, not through bombs, but through diplomacy and migration. If the U.S. expands its military presence in the region to contain allies of Iran, expect more surveillance, exercises, and naval movement. Countries like Venezuela and Cuba, who support Iran, may become flashpoints. The Caribbean Sea could become a tense military theater, risking accidental clashes or political fallout. Meanwhile, war or economic chaos could trigger a new wave of migration from those regions into neighboring islands. Caribbean nations may have to make tough decisions, accept migrants or shut their borders, support the U.S. or stay silent. These choices carry long-term consequences that will define the region's future alliances. This war may have started in the deserts of Iran, but its tremors are being felt right here in the Caribbean. With every missile fired and every oil barrel disrupted, our economies, societies, and politics stand at a fragile crossroads. Caribbean leaders must act wisely. They must prepare for fuel shocks, protect their tourism markets, and defend their national interests without being dragged into a geopolitical storm. The people must stay informed because ignorance in times like these is dangerous. If you think the Caribbean is too far to be affected, think again. In a globalized world, when one nation goes to war, the whole world pays the price. Like this video if you found it informative. Share it with someone who needs to know how global conflict touches even the smallest islands. And subscribe for more powerful Caribbean news and analysis.